Welcome back, students. Today we will discuss questions given in previous class exercise number 2. I think all the questions require some additional clarifications. Some students asked doubts regarding substitution of upper limits in question number 3. And in this lecture, I will try to explain that concept graphically. First question, find the Fourier sine transform of x raised to minus ax. And we can find the sine transform of this product function x raised to minus ax by applying the property of sine transform. We know the result of sine transform of the product function x fx is equal to minus d by d omega of the Fourier cosine transform of fx. Therefore, the Fourier sine transform of the product x raised to minus ax is equal to minus d by d omega of the Fourier cosine transform of the function e raised to minus ax. Mark it as equation number 1. So we separately compute the Fourier cosine transform. See, that is fc of e raised to minus ax is equal to fc omega is equal to, by definition, this Fourier cosine transform square root of 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity the function fx into cos omega x dx equal to square root of 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity what is the function? Here the function is e raised to minus ax into cos omega x dx equal to square root of 2 by pi. This is of the form integral 0 to infinity e raised to ax cos bs dx. We have already given that result, and we can write down this integral as e raised to minus ax divided by a square plus b square, that is minus a square plus omega square into a cos bs plus b sin bx, that is minus a cos omega x plus b sin bs is omega sin omega x, evaluating from 0 to infinity, equal to square root of 2 by pi. In upper limit value we are substituting x, so we have a term e raised to minus infinity, so this e raised to minus infinity value is 0, and hence the all upper limit values goes to 0. So in upper limit all the values are zeros, and in lower limit we are replacing x by 0. So this is 1 divided by a square plus omega square into minus a into cos 0, that is minus a into 1 plus omega into sin 0, so that time is 0. On simplification we get this answer as square root of 2 by pi into a by a square plus omega square. So this is the cosine transform, that is fc omega or Fourier cosine transform of e raised to minus ax. Now substituting in equation number 1 we get, substituting in equation number 1, the required sine transform of x raised to minus ax is equal to minus d by d omega of the Fourier cosine transform of e raised to minus ax, and we have the value square root of 2 by pi into a by a square plus omega square equal to, differentiating with respect to omega, removing the constants, that is square root of 2 by pi into this is minus a divided by a square plus omega square the whole square into derivative of this a square plus omega square with respect to omega, that is 2 omega. Or finally we can simplify this as square root of 2 by pi into 2a omega divided by a square plus omega square the whole square. So this is the answer of the first question. See the second question, find the Fourier sine transform of e raised to minus ax, hence evaluate integral 0 to infinity cos omega x by a square plus a square dx. From question number 1 we have the Fourier cosine transform. We have computed the Fourier cosine transform of e raised to minus ax is equal to the function of omega is equal to, from the previous question, this is square root of 2 by pi into a by a square plus omega square. Now for the evaluation of this integral we require the inverse Fourier cosine transform. So by inversion we have, by inversion formula. The inverse Fourier cosine transform, that is fx equal to square root of 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity the Fourier cosine transform fc omega into cos omega x d omega equal to square root of 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity, copying this value, that is square root of 2 by pi into a by a square plus omega square into cos omega x d omega. You can rewrite this integral as integral 0 to infinity cos omega x divided by a square plus omega square d omega is equal to, after cross multiplication we get this as pi by 2a fx, that is equal to pi by 2a into the fx is e raised to minus ax, and this integral representation is valid for all values of x because this function e raised to minus ax is continuous. Now to evaluate our required integral 0 to infinity cos omega x divided by x square plus a square dx. See, the integration variable is x and here the frequency variable is omega. So we are interchanging the role of this x and omega. That means we are interchanging with this x and omega. So integral 0 to infinity, changing omega by x and x by omega. So the numerator is same, cos omega x divided by a square plus x square dx is equal to pi by 2a e raised to minus a omega. So this is question number 3. Find the Fourier cosine transform of 1 minus x by pi the whole square. Now we have the Fourier cosine transform of 1 minus x by pi the whole square is equal to fc omega, that is equal to square root of 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity fx into cos omega x dx equal to square root of 2 by pi integral 0 to infinity, here the function is 1 minus x by pi the whole square into cos omega x dx. So we are directly applying integration by parts, that is equal to square root of 2 by pi. So the first function 1 minus x by pi the whole square into integral of cos omega x, that is sin omega x divided by omega, minus derivative of this 1 minus x by pi the whole square. So the derivative is 2 into 1 minus x by pi into derivative of 1 minus x by pi is minus 1 by pi. So this is the derivative of the first function into integral of sin omega x by omega, that is integral of sin omega x minus cos omega x divided by omega square. Then put a plus sign, derivative of this bracket, that is derivative of 2 into 1 minus x by pi into minus 1 by pi, that is minus 2 by pi into derivative of 1 minus x by pi, that is minus 1 by pi, into integral of minus cos omega x by omega square with respect to x, that is minus sin omega x divided by omega cube. Then minus derivative of this constant function becomes 0. So evaluating from 0 to infinity. Now simplifying this expression, we have square root of 2 by pi 1 minus x by pi the whole square into cos omega, sin omega x by omega, sin omega x by omega. Then correcting sign, minus into minus into minus, that is minus 2 by pi 1 minus x by pi cos omega x by omega square. And what is the third term? Here are 3 minuses multiplying. So again we have minus 2 by pi square, minus 2 by pi square into sin omega x by omega cube, sin omega x by omega cube within the limit 0 to infinity. So in this our upper limit calculation, we are replacing every x by infinity. So we have evaluating this quotient sin omega x by omega as x tends to infinity. Similarly, cos omega x by omega square as x tends to infinity, and sin omega x by omega cube as x tends to infinity. So in order to evaluate this upper limit, we are applying the result limit as x tends to infinity sin omega x divided by omega x, and limit as x tends to infinity cos omega x divided by omega x. See, this sin omega x by omega x is this single function, and as x tends to infinity, we can see that this limit value goes to 0. And cos omega x by omega x also goes to 0 in the limit as x tends to infinity. I will explain these two concepts using GeoGebra. Consider the graph of sin omega x by omega x and cos omega x by omega x. So this is a graph of sin omega x by omega x for different frequencies. This is a graph of cos omega x by omega x for different frequencies. See, first of all, we can evaluate the limit as x tends to infinity of sin omega x by omega x. See, if we change in different frequencies, we can see how this single function varies. So these are the single functions for different frequencies. Now we can observe what are the values of this single function sin omega x by omega x as x is very large. See, as x tends to infinity, we can see that the value is close to 0 or nearly equal to 0. So we can conclude that in limit form, limit as x tends to infinity sin omega x by omega is equal to 0. And similarly, we can compute the limit of limit as x tends to infinity cos omega x by omega x. So we are considering the next function cos omega x by omega x for different frequencies. This is the shape of cos omega x by omega x. See, as before, we can observe what happens at x tends to infinity. See, when x is very large, the function goes to 0. Or we can conclude that limit as x tends to infinity cos omega x by omega x equal to 0. See, these two limits are applied in our computation. So the required cosine transform fc omega is equal to square root of 2 by pi into, so in upper limit we have limit as x tends to infinity sin omega x by omega. So we are multiplying with one x in the denominator and x in the numerator. So in the entire expression becomes limit as x tends to infinity sin omega x by omega x. That part goes to 0. So cos omega x by omega square, we can rewrite this as cos omega x by omega x into 1 by omega into x. So limit as x tends to infinity cos omega x by omega x again goes to 0, and the same concept is applicable for third term. So all these three terms goes to 0 in the upper limit as x tends to infinity. And in lower limit, we can substitute every x by 0. So because x is 0, sin 0, so the first term 0, minus 2 by pi into 1 minus 0 into cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So we have minus 2 by pi minus 2 by pi into 1 by omega square, minus 2 by pi into 1 by omega square, and the third term, because of presence of the sin 0, third term is also 0, minus 0. This is equal to square root of 2 by pi into 1 by omega square, or we can write this as 2 by pi the whole raised to 1 plus 1 by 2, that is 3 by 2 into 1 by omega square. So this is the answer of third question.